Right. So, first of all, I'm going to be talking about the setup I have here a bit. Um, so this is just a local installation running 2023.11. ILL module is obviously enabled. We have freeform installed. A couple dozen test requests here just for demo purposes. And I also have an ILL partner pre-configured with an email address and a metadata enrichment plugin. More on that later. So this is just the setup I have here. Before we go on to talking about some of the features we're going to be talking about, I just want to briefly mention some improvements we made to this table. It was technically backported to 22.11.06, but it was only officially added into 23.05. For those of you who have used ILL in Koha for a while, and especially if you have a system running with thousands of requests, you will most definitely have noticed the improvements we have made here. So yeah, I just want to mention this briefly. Some of the features I have to talk about here today. So I have two smaller features. We're going to be starting with the requested from partners cancellation. So I'm going to be just creating a, sorry, a new request here, just for demo. And so we have the new request here. So previously, you would place a request with a partner, you pick the partner, and you click send email. And then you notice the status is requested from partners. Before, you were not able to revert this request or cancel it. It's just a different word for it. So you would only be able to complete it, and then, if you wanted to cancel it or delete it, you couldn't. So this is a new button we have now. You are now able to cancel a request that's been requested from partners. If you click on it, you have this confirmation box. You can revert it, and once it's been reverted, you are now able to delete it and other stuff like that. So this is just a new smaller feature here that you are now able to use. The other smaller feature I have to talk about here is the can place ILL in OPAC restriction. So moving on to patron categories. If you're using ILL in your system, you now have this new column here called can place ILL in OPAC. You'll notice I have one category here, the juvenile. They're not able to place ILL in OPAC. Everyone else can. So this is useful if you require only a specific set of patron categories to be able to place ILL requests through OPAC. If you edit a category, you now have this option here, right? This is for placing requests in OPAC only. So staff members will still be able to place ILL requests to any patron of any category, right? It's just for ILL and just for the patron themselves. So these are the two smaller features I have here. So now moving on to two slightly bigger ones. We have this new system preference here called disclaimer by type. This is very configurable and it allows you to do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to just demo it real quick. If I place a new request for a book and just do it normally, you will now see that I have a disclaimer here. And this is happening because I am placing a book specifically. And now I need to pick it's a yes or a no for this specific disclaimer. And if I click submit, right, it's been recorded what I just picked for this article type. This is useful. This is great because you may require different disclaimers depending on the type of the request. So you may have you may need a simple yes or no answer for a book, but you may need a different disclaimer for journal articles where the user has to pick the intended use, for example, academic or professional. So you're able to do that through the system preference here, right? You can configure different statements for different types. You can have a fallback for all the types, and you can bypass some of the types. So you can do a lot of things here, right? You can also have different choices depending on the type. So it's highly customizable, highly configurable. If you're interested on that, just reach out. The last feature I want to be talking about in this session has to do with batch requests, and it's the biggest one we have here today. So in order to have these new buttons here, there's some requirements. So you need to have a metadata enrichment plugin installed. For this example here, we have the PubMed ID plugin. There is another one for DOIs. And you also need to have a compatible backend installed. So Freeform is compatible. We also have a new backend for Reprints Desk that's also compatible. And these are the two ones for now. So once you click here on a new batch, this is a batch test for demo. We just do a patron here. And now it's going to be asking for PubMed IDs. Fortunately, I have some of those here. So one cool feature you'll notice here is I have a duplicate here. So what this will do is it just deduplicated a PubMed ID I inserted. This is good because you may have some errors here or some duplicate entries, and this is going to be prevent from redundant requests. So once you have the items here, what the plugin just did was it fetched metadata for all of the PubMed IDs we just entered. So the article title, ISSN, all of that, that's what the plugin did. So now that we just added the items, if we finish and view the batch, you will now see these are the requests I just created. You also have a new column here called batch. So if you go back into the full list, you can add the column here and see if a request is part of a batch or not, and which batch is that. There's also a link. If you click on it, you just see that specific batch you just clicked. You may also want to see all of the batches you have. So that's the button here. You're able to do that. And that's basically it. This feature is very useful if you have patrons that often want to submit multiple requests at once. So instead of having to create one at a time, you can just use the batches and submit all of those at once. Yeah, I think that basically concludes my presentation. I'm not sure if that was too fast or not. I'm excited to see if you have any questions. So thank you.